Hi, I'm Nisha. I'm the owner and creator of our soap company, and today we will be making body butters. And before y'all freak out, I'm not wearing gloves in this video because this body butter is just for practice, and it's strictly for me. I'm not gonna sell this or anything, just practicing with body butters. And I'm excited because I bought new things for it. I bought the new bowls, I bought a mixer, and I don't know, I'm just excited to work with this. All of our ingredients are shea butter, mango butter, avocado oil, beeswax, and vitamin E oil, and arrowroot powder. But I'm going to start by melting the shea butter, mango butter, and beeswax down. And this is the arrowroot powder I'm using. I'm using 1 teaspoon and adding it to our melted butters when they're all fully melted. I'm still experimenting with recipes and how much arrowroot powder I want to add or how much I don't want to add. But the purpose of adding arrowroot powder is because it makes the body butter feel less greasy. And I've made body butters 2 or 3 more times after this video. Again, when am I not? I'm always late with videos. This is an older video, but in this video I only added 1 teaspoon of arrowroot powder, and I feel like that may be a little too greasy because I know I've tested with my close friends and some say they can't tell a difference between 1 teaspoon and 2 teaspoons of arrowroot powder. Some say this recipe is more oily, but personally I like more oily things, but I'm not trying to make it to my preferences, still, and trying to make it just what most people will like. But again, some people say they can't even tell a difference, so I don't know exactly how to gauge how much I want to use. But right now, the most recent recipe, I've used 2 teaspoons of arrowroot powder. But here's a look at our stand mixer. I bought it a while ago and I did a bad job of cleaning it, so I'm actually going to go back and clean it again. And the one thing about the arrowroot powder is so messy on my hands. This is very, I don't know if I call it a messy process, but it's kind of a messy process with the arrowroot powder and just the oils, and it's very moisturizing process, but it's also very, I don't know how to describe that. Let's just say I'm nice and oily by the end of this. And right now I'm adding the avocado oil because I've been researching about this and I heard it's better to, if you don't have to melt the oil down, some of the properties of the oil holds better if I don't melt it. If it doesn't have to be melted, like the shea butter, mango butter, and beeswax have to be melted, but the avocado oil and the vitamin E oil are already liquefied. You don't have to melt that. Though I'm not sure this is my final recipe, I'm going to tell you why I chose the ingredients I chose in a minute. But after I'm done mixing this, I'm going to have the vitamin E oil later as well. But after I'm done mixing this, I'm saran wrap this and I'm going to stick it in the freezer or the refrigerator. Some people say freezer, some people say refrigerator. Right now I'm doing the freezer, and this is a very small amount, so I don't have to keep it in there long at all before it's too frozen. So I'm going to stick it in the freezer for about 15-20 minutes and I'll come back for the longest mixing of my life. But as I'm doing that, I'm just going to explain to you what ingredients I chose and why I chose them in particular. As I'm listing off these ingredients, I'm doing what has the most to the least, and the body butter is mostly comprised of shea butter. And the reason I chose shea butter is because it's deeply hydrating. It creates a protective barrier on the skin. It's known for its anti-inflammatory properties. It works for most skin types, and it's known to promote wound healing and improve skin elasticity. And this is unrefined shea butter, so a little of the shea butter smell comes through still, but for the most part the fragrance does kind of hide it, but a little bit of the shea butter smell does come through because I use unrefined shea butter. But it also adds a nice and rich creaminess element to it as well. Next we have mango butter. It's also deeply moisturizing, but it's more of a lightweight butter, so it won't clog your pores or anything, or you won't feel too oily with it. It's also similar to shea butter how it has antioxidants, and it's also suitable for most skin types, and also does add a creamy element, but still very lightweight and not too heavy on the oiliness feeling. Next would be avocado oil. It's rich in vitamins, antioxidants, and essential fatty acids. It contains vitamin A, D, and E, which are known to combat free radicals, helping prevent premature aging and protect against environmental damage like UV rays from the sun, stuff like that. It's also known to stimulate collagen and promote skin elasticity as well, and reduce the appearance of wrinkles and stretch marks and such. It is also lightweight and suitable for most skin types and unlikely to clog pores. I just wanted something to not be super heavy but also feel really moisturizing at the same time, which is why I also added arrowroot powder, so it hopefully won't be too oily. Next, we have beeswax, and again, it has similar properties as everything else. It's known for softening, improving elasticity, healing the skin. It provides a protective barrier for the skin. It's also humectant, so it draws and keeps moisture into the skin. It also adds creaminess for a nice luxurious feel, but it also helps firm up the body butter as well. Because I have a lot of softer ingredients, I want to add beeswax to help it be more firm and hold its shape better. Then vitamin E oil, because it's also antioxidant. It helps moisturize the skin. It's also humectant. It also helps soften skin, help with irritated skin, and also with certain skin conditions like eczema. It helps soothe those type of conditions. But the point is, I chose a lot of healing and skin happy ingredients so it worked for most skin types. Then the last ingredient would be the Arrowroot Powder, which again helps with the greasiness of body butter. This body butter is scented with one of our signature scents, a fan favorite, tobacco and bay leaf. I chose that because that is one of my favorite scents, and I would always want it in a body butter. And also, you can smell it when you bathe with soap, and it lingers on your skin for maybe a short period after, but body butter will actually stick to your skin. You'll smell it longer throughout the day. And a lot of these scents that I've worked with so far, just the fragrances for the body butters have lasted majority of the day. So I want this smell in particular. It's one of my favorites to last majority of the day. So I decided to do tobacco and bay leaf. I'm going to color it with a lighter green, definitely not as dark as the soap is, because if I go too dark, it might tint the skin, and we don't want to tint your skin or your clothes. So we're going to more of a pastel green color. Now, as you can see, I've been whipping forever. This is a very long process, a lot longer than I expected. You have to have a lot of patience to do this. I think each body butter takes me like an hour 30 if I don't make any mistakes, and mistakes meaning I don't freeze it long enough, or I don't whip it long enough, or I pause too much because I think it's whipped and it's not whipped. But on average, it's taking me an hour and 30 minutes for each body butter. And I'm not 100% sure, but this might be either 30 to 35 minutes of me whipping it, and it's almost the right texture, but I am going to add color and mix that in as well. But this is almost right, but not fully whipped. And like I said earlier, I've made more body butters after this one. This is an older video. But one thing I'm struggling with right now is the firmness of my body butter. Not as an end product, but when I'm piping it. I know piping with the designs and piping tips is not necessarily necessary. It's just for looks, but I would like to have the looks. So that's one thing I've been struggling with, whipping it enough and being patient enough until it's pipeable and will also hold its shape. That's my main problem right now, just piping it to where it will hold its shape. This one, however, went extremely well, so I don't have an issue with that in this video, but just what I've been working with lately, I've had an issue with, so I guess probably reviewing this video will help me figure out what I need to do better. But I think my problem is I'm not letting it sit in the freezer or fridge long enough. It's not cool enough to whip. I think that's my main problem, because after I kind of take it back to the freezer and freeze it some more, it gets to a better consistency of where I can pipe it and have it hold its shape. And mixing right here didn't work out for me, so I did take this bowl off and mix it with a spatula, and this color was not satisfactory, so I am going to add more mica powder later towards more of a darker green, but still very pastel. But I'm going to let you guys just watch me do this. I will join you back when I'm piping or just setting up to pipe. So this is what we're working with right now, color-wise and consistency-wise. I think it's pretty good. I would like to go darker with this color, but I feel like I'm risking tinting your skin if I go darker with this color. So I chose to just leave it at this, and maybe I'll test and go darker in the future to see exactly where my limit is. But here's my piping bag. Here are my jars. These are 8-ounce jars, but I figured out that they really only hold 6 ounces, but they're 8-ounce jars. And I need to find a better method of putting the body butter into the piping bag, because what I'm doing was a real struggle. And I know some people take like a big thing of saran wrap and kind of wrap it up. I've seen people do that, but I don't have the correct saran wrap, and I don't think that's necessary at this point because I'm working with smaller amounts, but I did it, and here's what it's looking like. But here is how the piping went. I really should have got something to hold the jar more stable than what it is, but I was kind of just trying to go for it all at once. And one thing I do after I do this is I will bang the jar down, and that does kind of ruin the rippling effect from the side. And I don't know how much people care about that, but I don't want to sell you guys a jar full of air, because once you bang it down, you really do have a lot of space in the jar left. But you can see the piping at the top. Sorry, I was laughing at myself because I was looking for something to dry my hands off with or get some of the oiliness off. But you can see the piping from the top. And I think that's more important than seeing it from the sides. I'm sure you want more product than more of the aesthetic look. And I banged it apparently, sorry. Sorry, this video is old. I didn't expect me to bang it again, but I guess I'm gonna redo it. And then after I did this, I took a jar, an empty jar, and tear the weight out. So I want to see how much this was. That's very pretty, I did a great job. But I wanted to see how much the weight was, and it only came out to about 6 ounces, which is perfect. But I am gonna make bigger sizes in the future. This is still just practice. And I tried to give you a better angle so you could see the weight as I'm filming it, or as I'm piping it. But I didn't realize that wasn't really working well, so I'm still gonna let you see the piping, but you won't be able to tell what the weight is on it. But I low-key hate to bang the bottle because I like the ribbons look so pretty and kind of just, I feel like it almost defeats the purpose, but it is satisfying to watch the ribbons go, but I feel like it does kind of defeat the purpose. But regardless, it's a very pretty process to watch, and I'd rather you guys have more product than more of the aesthetic, but the aesthetic will be on top. But I'd rather you guys have more product than to sell you a jar that's only 75% full. But I'm gonna let the rest of this piping go through. I'm gonna join you guys back with final thoughts and final looks and the feel of the body butter. And I'm also gonna show you a body butter I made a couple days after. This one happens to be my favorite piping wise. I think I did such a beautiful job with that one, and I hope to be able to recreate that because I haven't been able to do that the past couple days. Sorry, I got so excited just looking at it. And it smells so wonderful. It's like a big bomb of tobacco and bay leaf, and it lingers for I think at least 12 hours of the day I've had this on, and I could still smell it. And if I don't smell it, other people smell it on me still. But I love this one. I'm so happy. This is 500 grams. I ended up having a whole 3 jars, and another one. I do make smaller batches in the future, but yeah, it was just a lot. I should have made less, but I love the smell and I will use it all. I'll probably just share it amongst friends and family. But here's the other one I made a couple days later. This one's scented with strawberry and shortcake. And this one turned out really good as well. The only difference between the tobacco and bay leaf and this one is this one has 2 teaspoons of arrowroot powder. And a lot of people told me, again, they couldn't really feel the difference, but personally, I felt the difference. But I want to show you guys the texture of what this looks like and the spreadability. I had my friend help me record this. But this one is the one that is a bit more oilier. But again, most people say they didn't feel a difference, but I think I like the oiliness of this one. But it is just a very slight difference. But here's just a look at it. But I enjoyed making this and I hope to have this as a product in the future. But until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!